Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome to this session where we will show our nervous system some love. We are going to soothe today. We're going to soothe the nervous system, soothe the body, soothe the mind. So take a moment to just get as comfortable as possible, ideally seated, but whatever is available to you in your body. Just adjust a bit and arrive in this moment. Today we will be connecting to the breath, doing some exercises for the vagus nerve, some acupressure, and a bit of self-massage along the way. So this is your practice. Only do what feels good for you in your body. Move at your own pace. And when you feel ready, let's begin. So let's start today by simply observing the breath. Breathing in and out of the nose and shutting down the eyes at any point if that feels comfortable to you. And just observing, becoming familiar with the waves of breath. Noticing the shape of the body move with the inhales and the exhales. And noticing the characteristics of the breath. If you are going to describe your breath here, what words would show up for you? Is the breath feeling slow and controlled? Is it maybe feeling a bit shallow, a bit rushed? Perhaps simply bringing your awareness to the breath helps you realize that maybe it feels soothing to deepen the inhale a little bit and to extend the exhale. Long, slow, controlled exhale. Let's place one hand over the belly, one hand over the heart, and we will begin to implement the 3-part yogic breath, where we will breathe and feel the belly expand, then the ribs expand, and finally the chest rise, and feel everything deflate on the exhale. Always moving at your own pace. Breathing into the belly, the ribs, feeling the chest rise, and everything deflate on the exhale. 2 more just like that. And on the next exhale, releasing the arms down. Now let's shift our awareness to the body. First, just becoming aware of what is supporting your body in this moment. Whether you are seated or laying down, just noticing that in this moment you are being held. You can completely relax and you are supported. Maybe sinking a little deeper into this space. Feeling the connection to the ground and that ground connected to the earth. Maybe inhaling some of that stable, grounded energy into your body, rooting down in this moment. And on the exhale, just letting go. A couple more deep grounding breaths. connected, stable. Now I invite you to bring your awareness to the mind and just check in how the mind is feeling today. Noticing if it's feeling clear, if it's maybe feeling a bit busy. I always feel the breath is my greatest tool to keep me grounded and connected to the present moment. So let's use the breath to keep us here and present right now. Let's place both hands over the heart space. And on the inhales, think to yourself, I breathe love into my heart. And on the exhales, thinking, I send love to all beings. Inhale, I breathe love into my heart. Exhale, I send love to all beings. Continuing like that at your own pace. And if any other thoughts show up, gently release them with no judgment, returning. I breathe love into my heart. I send love to all beings. 2 more breaths, just like that. Releasing the arms down on the next exhale. And as you sit here, perhaps feeling a little bit more connected, I invite you to set a little intention for yourself in our practice here. Maybe that's a feeling you wish to cultivate or energy you wish to send someone. Just taking a moment to express that to yourself now. And then shutting down the eyes if they are not already. I invite you to bring your attention to the eyebrows and the forehead and invite this space to relax a little bit more, just letting go of any tension that might be held there. And then bringing the awareness to the space around the eyes. Can you relax the space around the eyes a little bit more? And then the entire face, letting the cheeks relax, letting the jaw hang heavy in the mouth. The jaw is a place we sometimes hold on to a lot of tension, so let's show our jaw some love. Let's begin by opening the mouth wide and moving the jaw from side to side. And then in circles, and circles the other way. Next, we're going to take 2 knuckles and place them in front of the ear and drag down with some nice pressure just above the jawbone into the muscle there. Just thinking of any tension melting away. And if you want a little bit extra pressure, you could use just the thumb. Again, pushing just into the muscle, releasing any tension that might be stored up there. And on to the other side, 2 knuckles in front of the ear, dragging down just above the jawbone into the muscle, thinking of any tension melting away. And using the thumb if you want a little bit more pressure. And then taking the index knuckles, starting at the inside of the eyebrows, pulling out with some nice pressure. Again, just thinking of releasing any tension, maybe moving up across the forehead. All right, let's show our neck some love here. Let's start with our SCM, our sternocleidomastoid, this big muscle on the side of the neck. We're going to begin by just pulling the skin very loosely, making our way from the clavicle up to just below the ear, just the skin very loose. And then coming back down just above the clavicle. This time we're going to grab onto the muscle itself, pull it out, back and forward a couple times, and then make your way up the neck doing just that. So grabbing the muscle, pulling out, back and forth, making your way up the neck. Could be quite tender. And moving on to the other side. So again, just above the clavicle, first very loosely taking the skin, pulling it away, and then grabbing the muscle itself, pulling out, back and forth a few times, making your way up the neck. Okay, let's take a few deep breaths where we inhale the shoulders up towards the ears and then drop them with a big sigh, letting go of any tension. 2 more, just like that. Inhaling the shoulders up. Sigh on the exhale. And once more. Okay, let's get into our traps. We're going to take the right hand over the left upper trap and just pull forward with a bit of nice pressure. Just getting into the muscle there. And then squeezing into the muscle, kind of thinking of pulling the muscle off of the bone as we make our way down the upper arm. Just pulling the muscle away from the bone. And then using whichever finger or fingers feel right. I like to use the middle finger, just in the very middle into the upper trap. We're going to use either the middle finger, maybe you want 2 fingers. Inhale, and then on the exhale, pull down into the muscle with some good pressure and just breathe in here. Good point to check in. Can I relax my jaw a little bit more? Maybe moving the fingers slightly to another point on the muscle. And again, just pulling deeply in. Maybe massaging in some little circles. Gently releasing and moving on to the other side. So pulling the upper trap, getting into the muscle there, pulling forward, and then squeezing into the trap and making our way down the upper arm, thinking of pulling the muscle away from the bone. And then using whichever finger or fingers feel right for you, pulling into that upper trap, a nice inhale. On the exhale, pulling into the muscle. And just breathing in here, surrendering to what shows up. Maybe adjusting and moving over a little bit, seeing if there's some new sensations which pop up. massaging in some little circles. And let's move on to give ourselves a forearm massage. So starting just in front of the elbow, massaging down towards the wrist, squeezing, pushing in, whichever feels good for you. And then massaging into the palm of the hand. And starting with the thumb, massaging into each finger. And then starting with the thumb, you're going to grab the tip of the thumb with the opposite index and thumb. Just wiggle in, getting into the joints there, showing the joints some love. And doing that for each finger. Moving on to the other side. So again, just forearm massage, making your way from the elbow to the wrist. Showing the forearm some love. Massaging into the palm of the hand. Starting with the thumb, each finger. And then starting with the thumb, just grabbing the tip, wiggling in, making your way across each finger. Let's interlace the fingers, just show the wrists some love, make some waves. And then we're going to use a technique called scraping. So taking the knuckles of one hand and just scraping all along the inner forearm, some extra love over the wrist as we have a heart meridian there. This is a good technique if you wake up in the middle of the night and have trouble falling back asleep. Other side of the forearm. And then moving on to the other side, just taking the knuckles, scratching back and forth, scraping. Extra love over the wrist. Other side. And just coming back to your comfortable position, your natural breath. Maybe just shutting down the eyes and observing for a couple breaths. Okay, let's take some deep breaths together where we are going to inhale as though we are sipping through a straw, all the way to the top, holding at the top, and then exhaling with a loud hum, feeling that vibration move all the way down into the pelvis. So inhale as though sipping through a straw, hold for a second at the top, deep hum on the exhale, really feeling into that vibration. Continuing just like that at your own pace. Two more deepest inhales, loudest hum. Last one. So humming helps to stimulate the vagus nerve, the longest cranial nerve in the body. Has a big effect on a number of different systems within the body, a number of different organs. If you are familiar with the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, it controls about 70% of the parasympathetic flow, the part of the nervous system we want to connect to. So vagus nerve exercises, these are my favorite, even if you just remember one to put in your toolkit to use when you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious or having trouble sleeping. I hope it helps. So let's begin at the bottom of one ear. We're going to take the index and thumbs and we're just going to massage in little circles, making our way up the outer edge of the ear. Just gentle little massaging circles. And once you reach the very top of the ear, thinking of rolling the edge of the ear outwards, making your way back down. And moving on to the other side whenever you feel ready. Index and thumbs starting at the bottom of the ear, just massaging your way up. Very gentle little circles. And once you reach the top, thinking of rolling the edge of the ear outwards as you make your way back down. And in between these exercises, I invite you to shut down the eyes and just observe. Notice any shifting, any sensations. Okay, this time let's take the index finger, and with the pad of the index finger, finding this upper groove of the ear and then moving to the front of that groove at the front of the ear, and just beginning to make very gentle little circles in one direction. More thinking of moving the skin around rather than pushing too hard. We are just sending a little bit of sensory input to the nerve, letting the body know we are safe and able to relax. Circles in the other direction. Less is more here. We're just being so gentle. Moving on to the other side, whenever you feel ready, index finger finding this top groove of the ear, moving to the front of that groove. Very gentle little circles, very normal if you yawn. Circles the other direction. Relaxing the arm down whenever you feel ready, shutting down the eyes and just noticing. Okay, let's move on to a few acupressure points. The first one, CV17, conception vessel 17, located finding the base of your sternum bone and then moving up around 4 fingers and pushing in right in the center with the thumb. So locating the base of your sternum bone, up 4 fingers and pushing in with the thumb. You might want to move around a little bit. Notice if there's a place that shows up with a bit of extra sensation. And just breathe right in. Maybe taking the other hand for a bit of extra pressure. We are here at the center of the yogic heart space. This is my go-to acupressure point if I'm feeling overwhelmed or anxious. Yet another tool to use if you are having trouble sleeping. Just breathing in here, surrendering to whatever shows up. Checking in, can I relax my jaw? Are my thoughts here with me in this moment? Have they been wandering? Should I connect to my breath to connect to this moment? A couple more deep breaths here. And on your next exhale, gently releasing, maybe massaging into that space. Next, let's move on to Heart 7. So this is located on the pinky side of the hand, just below the wrist on the outer side. So making your way down from the pinky side, just below the wrist on the outside and pushing in. And again, just breathing, surrendering, noticing. Another good point for when you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious, also an acupressure point you can use if you are someone who is trying to quit smoking or cessations from other things. Heart 7. When acupressure points are in the center, we always do them once, and if they are on the sides, we always do both sides. So on the next exhale, gently releasing, maybe massaging some little circles in there, moving on to the other side. So making your way down from the pinky, just below the wrist, and pushing in with some good pressure, and just surrendering to whatever shows up. These acupressure points you can do every day. You can sometimes notice a really big difference from day to day. Just being open and curious. A couple more deep breaths here. On the next exhale, gently releasing, maybe massaging some little circles in, coming back to your comfortable seat. Let's place one hand over the belly, one hand over the heart. This time we will inhale through the nose, deeply all the way to the top, and exhale through slightly pursed lips. Slow and controlled exhale. So inhale through the nose, feeling everything expand, and exhale through slightly pursed lips. As slow and controlled on that exhale as possible. Continuing at your own pace, inhaling through the nose. Slow, controlled exhale. And as you sit here, maybe feeling a little more connected, I invite you to express something to yourself that you are feeling grateful for in this moment. Whatever shows up for you, just taking a moment to express that to yourself now. Let's take the palms together in front of the heart, rubbing them together to create some warmth. And then placing the palms over the eyes, rolling out with a bit of gentle pressure. And then massaging across the forehead, up the cheekbones, up the jawbone. Maybe placing some pressure over the ears a couple times. And then taking the fingertips to massage along the hairline, all over the scalp, really get in there. And then gently touching along the whole body. Thank you so much for sitting with me. I hope you're feeling a little more calm and have a couple tools in your toolkit if you are ever in need.